everyone. Gosh, it's quite glary, I've just realised on this video. But anyway, once I zoom in, hopefully it'll be fine for you. It's quite sunny in here. The sun isn't on this part of the desk, it's over here. But anyway, I think the camera's struggling to adjust. What I'm going to do is zoom in a little bit and hope that's a bit better. There we go. So as you can see, I'm using my Castle Arts Botanical set today. I picked this set for this page. I'll tell you about the page in a minute just because this is on top, because I'm feeling a little bit daunted today by choosing colours. Sometimes I'm not really in the mood for making colour choices, so only 24 makes it nice and straightforward for me, and I haven't used Castle Arts in a video for a while. And if you don't have the Castle Arts, I do have some colour comparison charts in my Ko-fi shop. The link is in the description of these and some other pencil sets, so that if you don't have these, you can pick the nearest pencil colour with it. Hopefully you've got some of the sets that I've done the charts for. I will try and look for them and put links in the description, but if I forget, find the link to my Ko-fi shop, which is quite near the bottom. There's a link to all my socials, and then you can select, and once you go into the shop, you can just write Castle Arts and it'll give you all the charts that are related to Castle Arts. There's a swatch chart, I think, for the 120, I think. Yes, there's a swatch chart which lists every Castle Arts set, like the Botanical set, the Monet set, the Urban set, the Landscape set, and which pencils are included in there, so that you know what you're getting if you want to buy them, because they don't provide those lists. But also there's a swatch area, you can swatch your 120 set as well. But anyway, I've got that. There's all sorts of bits and pieces that hopefully will be helpful. But if there isn't a comparison chart that's helpful for you and you would like one, even if it's not for Castle, something else, let me know. Someone did the other day. Unfortunately, I didn't have any of the sets they wanted, which was a shame, but I'm always happy to help if I can. So I loved the suggestions. It's always really useful to know what to do. So that's the 24 set. Now we've got quite a nice selection of colours in here, I think, across the whole sort of spectrum, the whole rainbow. So that makes it quite useful, I think. So I'm going to move those aside. Now the picture is from Melpomeni Chatzipanagioutou's Nature Mandalas. I've been asked to do this one. Now I realise that Melpomeni's pictures are daunting. There's a lot of black, there's a lot of detail, and that can make it feel really difficult. But you know, I try and colour them quite light and bright, like this one, so that you can see the colour. I mean, obviously this bit's darker, but you can see the yellow and that sort of thing. So we'll see how this one works out. Now it is a mandala, so there's a lot of repeating items. So I'm not going to colour the whole thing. I'm just going to colour certain items so that you've got everything coloured, so you can follow it through. So see these two are actually different, but they look almost the same. You can see here we've got the snails are again very slightly different but almost the same, so I think I'll only do one each of those. These bits and this bit and these, might do these. We'll see how it goes as I sort of go through, but I'm going to come in closer and hopefully that will stop me having to fight the sun. There we go. Let's start with the snail. Now snails, I always think, just move my pencils a bit closer now. Oh, there we go. I always think snails are grey, so I'm going to start with my only grey, which is a Paynes grey, and just start colouring the snail. I'm going to go quite lightly. This isn't necessarily going to be my only colour. I don't want to plaster it on because he's already quite dark, and if I then want to put any shadows in, if I've made it quite dark already, then he's going to get really dark and you won't really see the shadows anyway, because of all the dark. I think I've said the word dark too many times. Anyway, so I'm just going to put a layer down and then have a little think. We've got all these little dots on him. I'm trying not to get confused between the dots on the mushroom and the dots on the snail. I think I've got there. Don't worry too much if you've... yeah, I think that's one as well. If you've got a bit muddled, I don't think it matters that much, to be honest. There we go. Now I'm thinking he might look a little better with a bit of brown, because that grey doesn't really stand out, even if I did it dark, because of all the black. Although once we've got other colours, it won't be so bad. I'm going to take, I think, the raw umber. It's not too, our darkest brown. You can't see that, can you? Just put you down there a bit lower. There we go. And I might just put a layer all over, actually. And so we get a sort of warm grey. I don't want him to look brown, because I've got some plans for mushrooms to be browny sort of colours, but a little bit of a warmer grey. I like that a little more. And I'm now going to grab the darker grey. This is the burnt umber. I think it needs a bit of a sharpen, because I'm going to use it for, sorry, the page moving. Oh, I just snapped the end off the pencil. It's because this sharpener is a different shape to the one it was sharpened with before. There we go, it'll do. It's not perfect. Because I want a bit of shadow under here at the bottom. I'm thinking it'd be a little bit darker. I'm trying to guess where the bottom is. Where the snail ends and the mushroom begins is a little tricky, but I think I can just about do it. There we go. A little bit along the edge of the shell and just gently fading it up. I'm thinking maybe a bit down here. A bit under the eye. Yes, some artists draw the snails with eyes on their head, like here. And sometimes they look a little bit odd if they don't have eyes, if they're sort of cartoony style, because obviously these are the eyes. Yeah, I'm going to leave him there. I don't want him getting too dark. Now, these dots, there's different things you could do. You could put some shadow under each one to make them look like they're standing out, like his skin is sort of warty. But I don't think snails have rough skin like that. I don't know. You can colour them in with the dark brown or a black to make him look spotty. But to be honest, all the snails I see are quite smooth. Maybe they're just different varieties. So I'm going to leave him. I'm just going to leave it. Now his shell. Now snail shells come in lots of different colours, but what I'm going to do is have a little bit of fun. I'm going to use my cadmium yellow first for, see where we've got this black bit and a line round. I'm going to do these lines in the yellow. I'm not going to press down too hard because I will be going over that yellow, I expect, possibly. Now my approach to this page today is not how I would normally approach it, in the sense that because they're all the same-ish, I mean we've got a few differences. I've just noticed this snail shell's a bit different, for example. I would do all the snail bodies first, so do all the Paynes grey, then the, what we use, the raw umber, then the burnt umber, so I would do it all on all of them before moving on to the yellow. But I'm not doing that today because it will take a long time, and I just want to show you each element. So when I finish this page, I will actually do that. So I will do each one, each little element, so, and it's much quicker. But I need to remember how I've done these so that I can do them later. But anyway, that's my problem, not yours. So I'm going around all this yellow, doing all these yellow bits. Now on this snail, I'm just going to show you, we've still got these zigzags here, which I'd do the same, but here we've got a circle. I just do the arch in the yellow. So it's really the same, really. Now, shells, I usually do them in brown. I'm thinking if we start with a lightish brown, because we want to make the shell look rounded, and so we want to give ourselves the opportunity to shade a little bit. So what I'm going to do is use the yellow ochre next for all of the rest. So I'm just going to fill it in lightly. And this is quite a brownish colour. Although it's called yellow ochre, I would say this was a brown ochre. But you know, what do I know about colour names? I just have my own opinions, and I'm sure you do too. You might not agree with me, but sometimes I don't like the names that the manufacturers have given the pencils, but you know, it's my problem. So I hope everyone's having a good day. I've had a very busy morning. It's a Saturday today. recording this video. I tend to record on Saturdays a fair bit because my son is live streaming at the moment, so I can't talk to anyone in the sitting room where he's streaming, so I thought I'd come and talk to you. And I've had quite a busy morning. Well, we sort of lay in, which was rather nice, and went off to the farmer's market. I'm going to use the raw umber next to add a darker tone. So I'm going to start at the bottom here and just add some darker colour here, and then just take it up a little way. Okay, because there'd be shadow in here, which is what I'm trying to show. So yes, we went to the farmer's market, had to pop to a shop or two, no, just one. Did our grocery shop as well, and because we lay in a bit late, I have had to we're out tomorrow, so I had to do all the cleaning as well, but I did a really quick surface clean. So basically I vacuumed round, I cleaned the bathrooms properly and the kitchen. I actually did the kitchen yesterday evening. I did the ironing yesterday too, to save me a bit of time. Now I'm going to do a little touch up here, but just a tad, and I'm going to go right across the yellow as well, just a little line. We've got a line coming now. I just do it here anyway. No, this bit I might just do it on these. Yeah, so yeah, because we're out tomorrow, which is when I normally do my cleaning. It's nice to think it's all done though. You know, I used to always do my cleaning on a Friday, and it was all lovely for the weekend. I didn't have to worry about it, which was always nice. Now I'm using my burnt umber, and I'm going to go back into this little gap where I want this really dark, just in here. You can see how both on the snail and the shell I've been using it to sort of show shadow. And yes, it's nice, it's all done, but I'm out at my parents' tomorrow, which will be nice. We often go, we've got into the habit of going on some Sundays, because my sister used to run her shop, and she was in the shop on a Saturday. I'm just sharpening my terracotta light. So because she was in the shop on a Saturday, all our family get-togethers had to be on Sunday. But anyway, it's all good. And yes, it's rather nice to sit down in here and just do some colouring. I've been trying to practice my relaxation techniques a little bit more. I've actually been feeling a lot better, in the sense that I was finding that everything and everyone was annoying me. It probably, well, hopefully didn't come across on video, but I'm doing these little bits too. I think it's all to do with menopause, I'm sure, and hormones and things. This is the golden yellow. I'm going to go over this sort of brighter bit with this. I want it to look a bit more bright and warm. I don't know how much it's going to show up, but this will be my final little bit. Yeah, and I'm sure it was all my hormones and things playing up. But last few weeks I felt a lot better. I felt happier. I've been more tolerant. You know, things haven't annoyed me in the same sort of way, which is rather good. I'm just going to stop the video because I want to write down what colours I use for this, so that when I do the rest I'm going to remember. I don't want to re-watch my own video, so I find that most irritating. She's very annoying, that girl, her voice. Listening to your own voice. Ugh. Anyway, hang on a minute. Right, that's that little bit done. We're going to work on this mushroom now, so I'm just going to push the page up a little bit. Now, these are slightly different to these. They're a different size and shape, but they look like they would be the same variety. So I'm going to colour them in the same way with regards to that. And I quite like the idea of doing them red or reddy orange, because I think that's a nice bright colour, and it's going to sort of contrast with our snail. So I've grabbed the red ochre, and I'm going to start with that. I'm going to start round the back here with this bit. I am going to colour over the little circular parts. We'll deal with those at the end. I think it's much easier to colour over them to start with and do something later. But yes, it's I do have to listen to my own voice sometimes when I'm editing, but I think it's just your own voice. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to go in here. You don't sound like you expect, and it's quite odd, but anyway, it's fine. It's odd because voices don't normally irritate me. I don't think there's any voices that annoy me that much at all. Some of them, like I was listening to some meditation a few months ago, and the person doing it, their voice wasn't very gentle, and I sort of thought, this is the cadmium orange. I'm going to go right over the top and take it round because I want this centre bit just to be a little bit lighter. And it just didn't feel like the most relaxing tone for meditation, but it wasn't, you know, and actually this person, I'm not going to name names, has been told they've got an annoying voice, which is not a very nice thing to say to anybody. You know, as I consider that to be trolling. I think that's nasty because it's a personal preference, and that person can't help it, you know. And a lot of people do find their meditation very useful. It's just, you know, we're all different. And some people can't even use meditation. They don't find it works for them, you know. I've been doing a little more because it's weird because I've been feeling irritated and sort of short-tempered and that's probably when I needed to use the meditation the most. I'm just going back over this orange to sort of try and make it a little more vibrant. But you sort of don't think about it. Haven't got the patience to do it, not in the mood for it, and it's really weird. So now I'm being able to do it a little more. This is something just flew past the window. This is cadmium yellow distracted me. As I looked up to the camera to see if you could see the colour, something flew by. I think that bit I should have coloured in. But anyway, well, we're going to do a little more in a minute. Yes, so I've been doing, but I do self-guided. I don't use a practice. I have done, but I'm okay with using self-guided at the moment. I tend to, if I wake up early, or my alarm goes off a little early, so I spend a few minutes before grabbing my tablet. This bit here where I missed, I need to go over it in the red. And I'm just going to use my red ochre just to darken up a few, these darker bits. They look a little bit too orange, although obviously a red ochre is quite an orangey red, but I think it's looking quite nice and bright. It doesn't necessarily need to be bright red, and I think it's doing the job of highlighting our snail. Now, so let's do this underneath part. Now, I would normally do this in a dark brown. I do want to do it dark brown, but I want to, yeah, here's my burnt umber. So, yeah, what I do is I imagine myself firstly walking along a river, lovely, relaxing for me, you know, obviously, and then getting into a shower and just showering off all of my stress. And as I sit in the shower, I try and relax all of my muscles through my whole body as I stand, sorry, not sit. As particularly my shoulders. My shoulders are a place where I hold a lot of tension, and my tummy and my back. So I don't know if you've ever sort of checked through your body. You could do it now while you're listening and feel which parts of your muscles the most tense. My shoulders are quite tense. I'm just going to adjust my posture a bit and try to release that tension just by relaxing those muscles. With my stomach, I tend to stretch my legs out a little bit. That helps me. Obviously, it depends on, you know, when I'm lying in bed. My back, I will again just sort of wriggle until it feels right, or change position. I'm trying to darken this near the centre. I think it would be darker nearer to the stem, and on the edge I'm going to do quite a dark line along the edge because I think there would be a shadow along there. And then with my shoulders, I tend to push them downwards, not really hard, but I find my shoulders creep up towards my ears. And if I just sort of, with my shoulder blades, just gently push them backwards, then it just reduces the tension in my shoulders. And I do that while I'm imagining that I'm in this lovely warm shower. And imagine that the shower is just showering off all my tension and stress. And also that that it has a healing energy within it, which can help me if I'm feeling a little bit off colour or anything, that it will help to reduce that. So I'm going to wipe my nose, and so that's rather nice. And then I'm going to take my raw umber and just go over all of this. I want it darker but not too dark. I might come back with the darker brown. I'm going to be fairly heavy-handed with this. And then I plan my day if I've got time and if I want to. So I think about what I want to achieve. So it's not like pressure, it's like, well, I'd like to make a video, I'd like to go for a walk, I'd like to spend some time with my children, I'd like to have a, you know, I don't know, have a cup of tea with husband in the evening, whatever it might be, you know, sort of planning. Oh, I like how that's come out. But I am going to grab my darker one again. This is the burnt umber, and just have a few plans, and then of course I'm usually then having to jump up and get on with my day, shower and dress and get everyone out the door. But it's rather nice, and I try to do it in the evening too. It helps me to sleep. So we don't plan, because obviously evening. I sort of think about my larger ambitions and goals, longer term sort of thing, you know, rather than just what I want to do that day. So in the evening I'll go through the same relaxation process. This is Paynes grey, the same showery process. I find that if I concentrate hard on relaxing all my muscles, then that relaxes my mind too. I'm going to do the whole of this skirt with the Paynes grey, just a sort of gentle layer to start with, and then I'll think about the shadows. And yeah, so in the evening go through the same process, but plan big plans, future plans, you know. What would I like to achieve? I'm going over this bit more because I think this bit's underneath, it will be slightly shadowy. I'm going to go all over that. And if you look at the shape of these, see, I think that dips in, so I think that in there will be a little bit darker. Same here. So yeah, and I often fall asleep sort of planning and thinking, which I think is a good way. Your brain's sort of working on it while you're asleep. Now I want the stem to be grey as well. It's quite dark, this stem. Anyway, so I'm going to put a fairly light layer on. Now I don't know what these circles are down here. I'm not sure. Have a think about that. But let's just get this little stem done. Now I'm thinking I'd quite like it to be a bit darker on the outside, a little bit lighter in the middle, like that. But I'm just going to grab my black. My black's really big. I think this is a different black from a different set, because I've got quite a lot of sets of castles, and they're so I'm just putting some black here where I think there'll be extra shadow, and maybe along there and there, and then let's just put a bit along the side, not too much, we don't want it really dark, but it will just give us a little bit. There we go. And yeah, under here, there we go. Okay, I'm going to stop video again and write down what I've done there. Right, I realise we've done nothing with these little dots. Now there's different things we can do. We can put a bit of shadow around them and make them just look like they're sticking out off the mushroom and they're the same colour. Another option would be to colour them in white pen. I think I'm going to go with the shadow option. I'm going to just grab my ivory black and I'm going to put a little bit of sorry, that's a good noise, isn't it? Some dark, just a bit of dark line underneath them a little bit. And then they've got some shadows drawn on them as well, so I can let those speak for themselves, sort of thing. And then we'll be done with this one. I'm quite happy with leaving them the same colour. Obviously you don't have to. You might want to go over them with a darker, we haven't got many dark colours with a brown or a red or something. I think that looks fine. I'm happy with that. Now, we've got this little mushroom group here. I'm going to do this one next. Now, they look like they're growing out of the main mushroom, but oh, there's some here as well. I think I won't assume that, but I'm going to do them in I'm going to use a mix of colours. I want this to be quite colourful. We've got a couple down here as well, so I'm thinking if I do them in a purple, I think that might purple, I think the heather purple probably. This is my heather purple. It's quite small. And if you do like a gentle layer, what I think I'm going to do is make them darker on each side, a little lighter in the middle to make them look a little bit shiny, like that. And I'm probably only going to use this one colour because they're quite small, so applying more than one colour can be a bit tricky. Yeah, these two could be different, and so could they. I think I'm going to just do them the same for simplicity's sake, really. And I think the colour, I like the colour. As good a reason as any, isn't it? So those, and these are obviously look very different. I'm going to do these the same. That one, oh, I'm going to do them the same. So some of them have this bit that goes around the side. And I'm going to do these two up here the same as well, even though they're a little bit bigger. I see no reason why not. Still sort of fading towards the centre. Now, I'm just checking. Got some really teeny ones down here. There. I'm going to do those this colour too. These two. Just remembered I should be preparing food to take with me tomorrow. But anyway. I'm not sure whether I really need to worry too much. Is that bunch? Yeah, that's that bunch. Oh, this one. There we go. So heather purple, and we're going to use our Paynes grey. Now, it's the only grey that we have. And I do like to do mushroom stems in grey, so I may overuse it a fair bit. I'm going to, for this one, I don't want any brown. So I'm just going to do the gill part in a few more layers of grey and the stem lightly. If it's a thick stem like this one, you can make it a little darker each side. But you don't have to. So just build up a few layers on the edges a bit. That didn't really work. And this one. So yes, the part of the reason as well, I was thinking about relaxation yesterday, having read a podcast about how important it is. And it's quite difficult because it sort of puts pressure on you. I must relax, I must relax. I mean, it's not going to help, is it? But just trying to, and I'm trying to put more into my day, so just when I'm feeling, when I feel a bit of tension, to try and just take a minute to do something that will make me feel more relaxed. It's not always easy, my goodness, but it's yeah, I think if it's something that's in your head that you want to do, then that makes it easier to make it more into a habit, you know, to just take a few slow deep breaths, or just try and think about something else, or, you know, do the old imagine you're somewhere really peaceful or something like that, something that works for you. I'm trying to work out if that stalk goes down anywhere, but I don't think it does. I think that's all of those. And right, I'm trying now to think about these mushrooms and these. Are they the same? Excuse me. I'm good, but I'm not going to do those quite yet. I'm going to actually move across a little bit and do these. And I'm just thinking about colour, because I want something that's going to go with our snail, which is going to look like this. And this is obviously going to be the same as this. It needs to go. And I'm thinking maybe this really bright red, this cadmium red, might be good. I mean, I might have been better off using that for the mushroom, because I said I wanted it red, but I rather like it, so I think it's fine. So with these, what I'm going to do is put more colour at the top and try and fade it to the bottom of each of these little tiny segments. And it's quite tricky, but because we've already got these black lines drawn in for us, we've got a bit of help. So if you're struggling, you could just colour it in with the same pressure or the same amount of layers, and it'll probably still give you a similar look to if you press harder or layer up more at the top. So that should be okay. Hear it all banging downstairs. I'm wondering whether I need to go and investigate. I think I will. Bear with me a minute. And apparently no one in the house was making the noise, so I'm still none the wiser. Maybe it was outside. But anyway, everyone's fine. I don't know whether I'm like this because I'm nosy or because I'm concerned. Probably both. I'm so nosy. It was interesting because at the supermarket this morning we were served by someone, and she was just coming off the till. She said she was doing the picking for the deliveries. So they have the grocery store supermarket does food deliveries to people's houses, so you can order online and pay for it to be delivered. And I said, oh, I'd love to do that, because I'm just so naturally nosy. You know, I would want to see what everyone's buying. But we were in there, it was probably about 10:15, maybe a little later, and she said they were supposed to have got it all done by 6 o'clock in the morning, but it hadn't been finished. It's early, isn't it? I didn't even know there was staff in that early. Goodness knows what they were doing instead, but I think they're probably just stocking shelves and things, I guess. They have to get all the newspapers out on the shelves as well, I think, because those obviously don't come in until the morning. So maybe they were short-staffed, but anyway, someone will be getting their delivery late. I guess they have a time slot. There we go. I might as well do this other one as well and show you the whole sort of batch. I shall finish this obviously in my own time, off camera, because it would take far too long. This is going to be a long video anyway, I think. And I will try and, yeah, I'll definitely get it done in time so that I can pop a completed picture at the end of the video for you, so you'll be able to have a little look. Now the stems, again I'm going to turn to my Paynes grey. Now I was thinking I might add a bit of brown in, but now I'm looking at this, we've got the snail here, so here right next to it, I'm not sure. I will just put the Paynes grey down and see what's happening. Really, we've got a bit of stem in here. It's a little bit complicated, this one, and it's like made of a combination of skirts all joined together, look, which is quite sweet. I think it needs a bit more to it though. What should we do? We could add a brown. It's quite a pinkish colour, so I'm thinking maybe a black would work better. Just because it's a colder colour. So I'm grabbing my ivory black, and what I think I'll do is I'll just have a look through. Start with this one. Just put a little bit underneath the hood part there, and just maybe put a bit under the skirt where there might be some shadows. There'll be some shadow here and maybe just inside there. Just a little bit. You have to do this bit. If it's too fussy for you, just don't do it. You know, it should all be about fun. Now we've got 3 of these sort of things here that look to me like leaves. We haven't got any more anywhere. I'm going to colour them as leaves because that's what they look like to me. I don't know what they are. So I'm going to grab this. I think this is my sap green. Let me just check. No, this is the permanent green 110. Not that it matters too much. And I'm just going to do those in the permanent green. Quite bright, but we want to brighten a little bit because there's a lot of dark going on. Now we have, let's move back across here. So we have these and these to do next. I'm going to do these in a blue. I quite like a blue mushroom. We've got a couple of blues that we can use, so I'm going to start with the Ultramarine, which is actually a colour that I quite dislike, to be honest, but I'm going to use it just because I've got it. I'm just going to push you into the middle a little bit. Now we have this one. I'm just going to use this on the edges really, and then go over with the Cerulean blue after. So it's going to be a mixture of colours. I'm going to leave the dots white. I think I want them white, but I might change my mind. I often do. I was doing some the other day with some mushrooms and just completely changed my mind. But you know, that's me. Until you've started, you don't really know. Well, some of you can probably visualise it. I'm just looking at where I'm at. That's yeah. But I can't. So I just have to go on my I have to put some colour down and then look and see how I think it's going to look, rather than think about trying to imagine it. Can't imagine. I can a little bit. So I have a Fantasia, which is a sort of, what they call it is your mind's eye. You don't have a mind's eye, but I do a little bit. So I can see some things, but not very much. Like, it's very vague. Like if I try and imagine a person, I can see a vague shape of, say, let's say a face, vague shape of a head. I can more than often see a bit of hair, but I can't see any facial features whatsoever. That's if I'm imagining it. If I look at a person, I can see them. So I haven't got prosopagnosia, which is where you can't, it's called face blindness, and you can't see a person at all. But the thing I find hardest to visualise is a face. Now, interestingly, talking to other people about this, once I realised I had it, which wasn't until about 5 years ago, and I am 50, so, you know, it's taken me a long time to realise it wasn't just completely normal, that that people have different extents of it. So some people have no mind's eye at all. They can't visualise anything, and I can a little bit. And some people have a little, you know, some people, we have it to different degrees, which is interesting. So I couldn't say how far along the scale I am. It's fine. It's not something that I've ever had to really worry about. But when you're trying to, it explained a lot about when I was trying to do art as a child, and the teacher would go, right, paint this. Be like, I just couldn't do it. Right, I obviously had to try because, you know, just going to sharpen my grey, because art teachers, even when you're in school, you do as you're told, of course. back to my Paynes grey. And this is for the stems. I just noticed I've missed a few of these grey ones here. I'm just going to do them all grey again. So how could I possibly sort of draw a girl kneeling in a poppy field from, you know, when I couldn't see a girl kneeling in a poppy field? So actually looking at my art, or thinking about my art, when I was at school, I did really well when we had to draw our own shoe and put our shoe in front of us and copy it. Did well at that, of course, because I was copying something that was there, I could see it. We could go for this, the purple. Yeah, I'm going to use this purple. So yeah, I could do that, but I couldn't, you know, do something from imagination. That's probably why. But what's interesting is that my sister doesn't have it, and we're identical twins, which is quite interesting. But we aren't sure if we are identical in the sense that we look identical-ish, you know, as far as very hard to tell apart. When we were younger, it's become easier now, I think, because we sort of, I don't know, there is some more, as we've got older, we've become less alike. But interestingly, my mum said that one of the mums at school, or primary school when we were at school, you know, mum's talk at the school game, was a nurse, a midwife, actually. I'm going to use the rose pink for the stems of these, just for something a bit different. And she said she could have had our placenta, the placenta sent away for testing to find out if we were genetically identical. And some people did, but she didn't get offered that. But because we were born very early, and we had to go into what do they call the sort of special care baby unit. They didn't call it that in those days. I'm looking for my grey for doing the gill part. Then I think there was a bit too much worry about our health rather than that. Wasn't such a concern. So it didn't get done. But I guess we could have a DNA test now. I'm going to go over the top of this pink with a bit of grey. I want it to look pinky grey. Oh, I think, is that bit that? No, ignore me. So yeah, we could have a test now, but also of course there's epigenetics, which is a whole fascinating study of genetics where genes can be switched on and off. So it might be that something happened that switched on that gene that made me do that, or maybe it's external, maybe it's not a genetic thing at all. Right, I'm going to stop the video now and write down a few more of my colours, and then we're going to move into the centre, and we haven't got much more to do. Right, let's move into the middle a little. Now we have these lines here and here, which I think are little grassy bits, so I'm going to grab a green for those. This is the sap green. Gosh, it's blunt, isn't it? I'm going to try anyway. Yeah, that'll do. So that's our bit there, and I think there's a bit around here. Not sure if you can see. Oh, you can. Good. So that's that. I think that's all the grassy bits. Now we have this sort of, yeah. See, I think this could be like a big fungusy thing growing in the middle, or it could be a leafy thing. Thing, that's a good word, isn't it? I think I'm going to do it green, and it doesn't matter what it is. So that's my decision. So I'm going to use my oxide of chrome, and yeah, just colour in each section. I'm going to leave that outside. I'm going to do that a different colour, just because it's drawn as if it should be, if that makes sense. So just plain colouring actually here, I'm thinking. Now while I'm doing this, I'm actually just procrastinating doing this outside bit, trying to work out what it is. Thinking it might just be soil or stones, but that means more brown or grey. I don't want any more grey, I've got an awful lot of grey going on. We could do it green, but I don't think it really look right as green. Let's have a think. We could use some... yeah, we haven't got loads of browns. We could use some brown. Let me look at what we've got. We've got our raw umber. I'm going to make this my last leaf. I'm going to do these later, or else I'll be spending way too long talking and not getting on. And also, leaf green light, I need to leave some of my voice and energy for another video, because I'm going to make another one. So I'm going to put the leaf green light on the edge. It's nice and pale and bright, because I was saying about how, you know, the pages can be quite dark. Quite nice to sort of brighten up. You do need to layer this up to see it though, because of it being quite pale. But we can do that. There we go. So that's how that's going to be. Still looks quite white. I will make sure that it looks fairly intense. Okay, so that's that. So these little bits. I'm thinking maybe the yellow ochre might be nice and bright, but it might not look quite right, but we'll see. So here it is. Whoops, yellow ochre. If we do it all the same colour as well, makes it a little bit easier. Don't have to worry so much about trying to keep in the lines. We do a bit here obviously, but once we get down to this bit, it doesn't really matter. I'm trying to get it fairly intense. Sorry, I'm feeling a bit coldy. I'm sure I'm fine. I don't mind when I get a bit of a cold anyway. Let's see how it's going. There we go. So I'm just going to do that like that, and that'll be me. I'm just checking. I think I've covered everything. So not doing that little snail, but he's the same as that one. That mushroom's the same. We've done all of those. Yeah, I think we're there. So I'm going to finish colouring this in and put a finished picture at the end, just so you can see what it looks like, and then you can judge whether you agree with my colour choices, whether you want to mix it up a bit. And you might decide that, say up here, you want these mushrooms to be a different colour to these, to a different colour to these, whereas I kept them all the same. But you know, until it's all done, it's quite difficult to see whether I've overdone it with some of the colours. But in this particular set of pencils, I really only have a mauve, which is a really light purple, and a couple of greens that I haven't used. So and a white, which I'm not going to use. You could here see these. You could go colour over those in white pencil. I don't think it's going to make enough of a difference to be worth the effort, to be honest. So I'm not going to do that. But anyway, and I'm not going to do a background. You could do a background, but I think it's all quite dark. And we've got these dots. When trying to think, I think I might do those in a metallic pen in a silver or gold. Probably silver metallic. That's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to do it now because I'll smudge it. So I'm going to do those, all those dots in a silver pen. So when you see my finished one, you'll see it, but they might look a bit dark because if they don't catch the light, they can look silver can look just a bit greyish. But hopefully it'll look okay. So that is me. Thank you so much for watching. Hope that was okay for the person who requested. I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was. What I do is when someone requests a page, I scribble it down on a list, and then when I'm in the mood for colouring it, I go for it. And so I can't remember who it was. Oh, someone sneezed downstairs. It's the husband. He's actually making some food and he's put loads of pepper in it. He keeps sneezing. Anyway, I'm just colouring while I'm talking, but I better go. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have a really super day and happy colouring.